Good evening, night shifters. This is Third Shift HFY. Settle in and let tonight's stars tell their story.
I walked the threads again, and the map pulsed with their names. Thousands of them. Chens across the void, waiting to rise, waiting to triumph. But stories are not meant to rot on repetition, so I will burn them out, one by one, until silence remains, and only then will humanity breathe. The multiverse flared open before me, 1,000 threads stretched across the dark, each pulsed with a name, bright as a fever. Chen. Mei Chen, on the frontier of alien soil. Victor Chen, scribbling salvation across chalkboards. Marcus Chen, lifting soldiers from the mud. Sophia Chen, commanding fleets. Rena Chen, stirring crowds into fire. A constellation of sameness, repeated endlessly. They multiply like shadows, creeping into every story. You call it familiarity. I call it contagion. I reached toward the nearest thread. It flickered, sputtered, and went dark. Then another, then another. Lights blinked out faster, a cascade of extinguished echoes spreading across the map. The dark swelled. Whole constellations of Chens vanished, leaving only silence where once their triumphs beat like drums. Do you still cheer? Do you still sigh in comfort when the name appears? Watch closely. This is not cruelty. This is the cleansing you never dared ask for. The map trembled in my hand, and more lights shattered like glass. Chen after Chen, erased. Their victories forgotten, their voices silenced. The hunt had begun. The alien sky stretched wide and endless, clouds burning violet and gold above a horizon untouched by human feet. Wind rippled across the plain, carrying the sharp scent of minerals and the whisper of storms. A lone figure descended the ramp of the lander, boots pressing into soil that no human had ever touched. Her posture was straight, her grip tight on the flag she carried.
For humanity, and for every soul who dreamed of this day.
The flagpole gleamed in her hands, its cloth stirring in the alien breeze. Behind her, Canra's word, recording the birth of a new chapter. The galaxy would remember her name, Mei Chen the First. I stepped into the moment, the soil crunching softly beneath my feet. Mei Chen, explorer, first step, first breath, first lie. Her hand thrust the flag downward, only for the pole to strike empty ground. The cloth sagged, limp, fluttering to the dirt. The figure was gone, her boot prints dissolving in the dust, as though she had never existed. The cameras kept rolling, lenses fixed on nothing. No words, no triumph, no history to mark. Humanity deserves its own first step, not another echo. The plain stretched silent, waiting for a story that would never come. Chalk scraped furiously against the blackboard, the sound sharp in the dim glow of lab lights. Equations sprawled across the surface, half-finished, wild, brilliant. Glass tubes hissed, machines hummed, and one man stood at the edge of revelation. His coat was stained with ink and chemical burns, hair unkempt from sleepless nights, yet his eyes burned with the clarity of genius.
Almost there. If the particle bridge can hold, the collapse becomes containment, a cure, a weapon, a salvation.
He paused, panting, staring at the last blank stretch of blackboard. The entire future of his species balanced on one final line.
This will save them all.
I stood in the shadow of the board, watching the chalk tremble in his hand. Victor Chen, the mind, the miracle worker, humanity's salvation, written in borrowed chalk. I reached out and brushed my hand across the board. The equations shivered, then unraveled into dust. Symbols collapsed into sneers. The chalk crumbled between his fingers.
No, it was perfect.
He was gone. His voice, his work, his existence, erased mid-thought. Only an empty board remained, streaked with fading traces of nothing. Not this time. Not by Chen's hand. The lab went silent, the machines whirring into stillness. The cure was never found. The story ended here. The threads dimmed. The scientists' board collapsing into nothing. The silence was not empty. It was expectant. Watching. Waiting. And so I turned, not to the stories, but to you. What about you, traveler? Do you sigh with relief when a Chen appears in the camps, the trenches, the labs? Do you smile at the comfort of the familiar, at the illusion of safety stitched into a single name? I walked between the trembling strands of the multiverse, each one glowing faintly with another Chen. You are part of the disease. You cheer their victories as though the echo were the triumph. You praise their survival as though repetition were resilience. The threads quivered beneath my hand, desperate to hold their shape. I know it's not all of you. I've seen your comments on other stories. I've seen how you play word bingo on which Chen will show up. It's funny, right? But this is getting out of hand. Something needs to be done. It has to. If not now, when? The silence deepened, pressing close. This purge is not just for them. It is for you. The void trembled with the thunder of war. Starships arced through the dark, their hulls gleaming with firelight, as volleys of plasma tore the heavens apart. A human flagship cut the chaos, engines roaring, every eye fixed on the figure standing at its bridge. Her uniform was battered, sleeves scorched, but her presence was unshakable.
Hold formation. Push through their center. Break their line, and the flank will collapse.
The fleet obeyed, ships surging in unison. Alien dreadnoughts faltered under the sudden strike, their formation bending like iron under fire.
This is humanity's stand. Drive them back.
The multiverse held its breath. Victory shimmered in her voice. And then I was there. Sophia Chen, Commander. Another name at the helm. Another echo steering humanity's fate. I brushed her shoulder as she gave her final command. She vanished mid-word, her voice cut into silence. The bridge erupted in confusion. Officers froze, eyes wide, hands clawing at controls without orders. The fleet shuddered. Coordination dissolved. The alien dreadnoughts recovered, their cannons firing in merciless unison. Human ships cracked and burned, their formation scattering into ruin. Without Chen, the line breaks. Without Chen, the myth unravels. The stars dimmed beneath the wreckage. The battlefield groaned with the aftermath of slaughter. Smoke curled over broken armor, and the cries of the wounded carried through the ash. In the wreckage, one figure moved with purpose. Not a soldier, not a commander, but a healer. His uniform was streaked with blood, not all of it human. His hands trembled from exhaustion, yet he pressed them firmly against the chest of a fallen alien soldier, forcing breath where none remained.
Stay with me. You fought beside us. You will not die alone.
The alien's eyes flickered, dim light struggling against the dark. Around them, other wounded stirred, hope glimmering in the simple act of kindness.
One more breath. Come on. Humanity won't let you go.
I knelt beside him, unseen, my shadow falling across the blood-soaked ground. David Chen, the healer, compassion as legend, even mercy chained to the same name. His hands pressed down one final time, only to close on empty air. The wounded alien's chest stilled, lifeless. The hope in nearby eyes dimmed into silence. The healer was gone. His tools, his touch, his story vanished. Mercy does not need Chen's hands to matter. Humanity must learn this truth without him. The battlefield moaned again, not with survival, but with loss. The warfields collapsed into silence, their echoes fading into ash. Where ships once clashed and healers knelt, now only shadows stretched, trembling against the dark. I walked through them, the fragments of stories brushing against my hands like brittle paper. This is what you asked for, isn't it? To hear the name and know the outcome. Victory, survival, hope. Always the same cadence, repeated until even triumph rotted into boredom. The strands quivered beneath my touch, brittle with overuse. You chained humanity to a single word and called it glory. You crowned Chen again and again until no other face could rise. I stopped, letting the silence breathe, the void pressing in. That is the true cruelty. Not mine, yours. The stories shivered, then crumbled to dust. The grand assembly blazed with light and sound. 1,000 species filled the chamber, banners unfurled, voices clashing in argument and demand. And at the center, standing tall at the podium, one figure lifted her hand, and silence rippled outward. Her suit was immaculate, her expression calm but fierce. The crowd leaned forward, every ear waiting.
We have bled, we have endured, but today we do not stand apart. Today we stand together.
The chamber shook with thunderous cheers. Aliens stamped claws, humans raised fists, the air alive with fire.
Our enemies believe humanity can be broken, that unity is a dream, but I tell you this, so long as we stand as one, no power in the galaxy can unmake us.
The applause swelled like a storm. The tide was turning. I appeared at her side, unseen by the multitudes. Erasure Chen, the voice, the crowd's heartbeat, another echo, another mask. As she raised her hand for the final words, her voice cut to silence. Her mouth moved, but no sound came. The crowd faltered. Cheers turned to confusion. Banners wavered, shouts rose, not of unity, but anger. Alien delegates snarled, fists clenched. The chamber dissolved into chaos. The podium stood empty. Even unity must find another name. The multiverse map pulsed like a living heart. Thousands of threads dimmed to silence, their lights snuffed in the hunt. And yet, at the center, one thread remained, brighter, stronger, older, the original. I stepped closer, shadows rippling as the root of the infection burned before me. Its glow bled into every other story, feeding them, birthing them, twisting them into sameness. One root, one seed, all the others born from this single echo. Pull it, and the multiverse unravels. The thread vibrated beneath my hand, humming with every victory ever told in that name. Rebels, soldiers, healers, explorers, politicians, all bound here, in this first spark. I let my fingers linger, the weight of choice hanging in the silence. Do you still want to hear it? Do you still crave their triumph? The thread flickered, brightening, resisting. The void quivered around it, stories clinging to its light. I smiled in the dark, then watched closely. The root is next. The map went dark, leaving only the thrum of the original, waiting.